Next to the podium, I would like to invite Mr. Scott Maxwell to introduce this year's first student speaker.
Nope, I'm good. Class of 2015. You guys are really an impressive group. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to help you celebrate. I'm up here to introduce Kaleigh Santos. Kaleigh is such a talented and well-rounded student, but at the same time, she's one of the most humble. She probably hates the fact that I'm up here saying all these nice things about her, but I'm just glad to get the opportunity to let all of you know what an incredible person she is and what a great asset she's been to the Sanborn community. Personally, I've been lucky enough to coach Kaleigh in cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track at least part of the 4 years she spent here at the high school. And I couldn't have asked for a more dedicated, positive, enthusiastic, or hilarious member of our team. Being the competitor that she is, before her races, she's all business. She might be a little nervous at times, but she's determined and serious before that gun goes off. Once the race is over, completely different story. She has no problem letting her goofy side out, which I think is her just being herself. For example, there was a time that I left her and her friend Alex in charge of my iPad just for a few minutes at a cross-country meet. They were supposed to use it to take a few pictures of the boys' race while it was going on. I didn't realize they were going to take nearly 400 pictures, many of them having nothing to do with the race, many of them having more to do with a Kaleigh photo shoot. Lucky for us, I salvaged one of the pictures from that. I believe this is Kaleigh's game face. Just leave it right there. So, on a little more serious note, I always encourage my athletes to reflect and take something away from every race that they run. Whether it's good or bad, just learn something from it. Kaleigh takes this a step further. She turns everything she does into a learning experience. She's always looking for ways to improve and seems to be on a constant quest for knowledge. So whether it's exploring the streets of Europe or the running trails of Kingston, she really makes the most of every adventure. In the classroom, her teachers tell me she's exactly the same way, always delving deeper into the content well beyond what's in the textbook. Her Spanish teacher, Mr. Kinsley, admires her dedication to the language, but he was also impressed by her newly found cooking skills. Also, Kaleigh's physics teacher and advisor, Dr. Young, mentioned that he's always appreciated, number one, her ability to understand his jokes. And number two, he said that she has a trait he likes to refer to as cool weirdness. So tonight is just the first step of Kaleigh's next adventure. In the fall, she'll attend the University of New Hampshire to study psychology, and I have no doubt that she'll continue to make the most of her experiences and continue to make people smile in the process. So can you please help me welcome Kaleigh Santos to the stage.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. When I first started thinking what I wanted to write my speech about, I was actually helping at a middle school track meet. I may or may not have procrastinated writing it and was rushing to get my focus straight, but I just didn't quite know what exactly I wanted to write about. I was surrounded by my teammates of all grades and decided to pass around my phone so people could write something and hand it to the next person. I was scavenging for any ideas I could. Everyone was more than happy to help me, and later when I looked at my phone and saw what everyone wrote, I noticed that the core of most of them are about different groups of friends and family and their memories of them here at Sanborn. I realized this was exactly what I wanted to write my speech about. By passing around my phone, I saw how lucky I was to have that group of people with me right there. As I leave Sanborn, the one thing I am most certain will also leave with me is a sense of community that I've gained over the years and learned to value above all else. I remember homecoming this year, when we all huddled into a circle, reassuring ourselves that we worked hard and that it doesn't matter if we lost because we know we put our hearts into it. I remember Danae started to cry, and then I started to cry, which is how it usually goes. And I can't look at Danae right now, even though she's right in my view, or else I'll start crying. But I wasn't crying, I wasn't sad because we might not win. I was crying because I was looking around at a group of people. I had spent year after year seeing. Many of them I barely even knew, but we were together. Hands on each other's backs, showing that we were a family. It was like the end of Toy Story 3. And I'm sure you know, if you've seen it, you know what part. All of Andy's toys joined hands as they were getting closer to burning to death in a pit of fire. But they were with each other, and they looked at each other, and they knew that they were a family. And that's not the only family that I've made here. I have a family in my cross-country and track team, where I can count on Scott to be so supportive that I forget I chose to participate in a sport where the only thing you do is run. I've made families on my trips to Spain, Ireland, and Rome, where even though sometimes we were at each other's throats after a long day of flights in foreign language, we still made great memories like getting gelato every chance we could, or seeing Evan slip in dog poop that made up for all of this. Sorry, Evan. I have a family with all the Newton kids because we all know we have a special and sometimes competitive and defensive place in our hearts for our hometowns. Go Newton. As a class, we've been through the freshman learning community and the sophomore experience. We've dealt with losses and rough times, struggled through scheduling and being the guinea pigs every year, but we've always had each other, going through everything together. If there's one thing our class knows, is community. Those of you who know me well enough, you know how much I love the stars. For me, seeing the night sky is one of the most beautiful things one can see during their life. I've laid under the stars so many times and wondered why they are so beautiful. They are just a bunch of bright dots sprinkled on a black sky. My favorite nights are the ones where there are no clouds, and you can finally see the millions of stars glistening in the darkness, lighting up the earth. I realized that the night sky is beautiful because these tiny stars are all connected to each other. There's not one star singled out surrounded by a circle of black. Every dot has a bunch of dots surrounding it. Even if they're faint, they're there. Like the stars, we are all more beautiful. Like the stars, we are all more beautiful when we have each other by our sides. I know that some nights are cloudy and you may forget there's a whole sky of constellations hiding underneath them. But you have to remember, not every night will be cloudy. Life can get rough, but so far we've gotten through it thanks to the help and support of each other. Our lives are full of stress and work, but that stuff does not travel with you in life. When I look back on what my high school has been, I don't think about all the assignments I did and all the work I've done. I think about all the Scott Maxwells and travel groups and whoever else that made me happy to be a part of Sanborn. Each of these groups have taught me some important lessons. I've learned from my relay teams how to push yourself beyond what's comfortable for the sake of the team. Try not to get comfortable. Let others push you, and you'll be surprised how much you can actually achieve. Always be reliable. Don't end up being another stress in someone's life. If you see a friend needs help, don't think twice, just do it. Even if it's inconvenient. Make the effort to surprise someone. It's an amazing feeling knowing that you were able to brighten someone's day. I remember one time I brought pizza to some of my favorite teachers, and I actually ended up running through the halls to try to hunt down Scott to give him a slice of pizza. I looked crazy, looking for and running around the halls, but it was worth it to see his face in the end, even if he was really confused and thought he had no idea what was going on. So when we leave high school and move on to wherever our lives bring us, remember all the people that brought a little more happiness into your life, and know that there will be so many more to come. We have become a community of beautiful little stars here at Sanborn, and we have all helped each other get to this point right here and now. So thank you all for being a class of 2015 family.